Well, hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, TWL Tuesday night. Can you believe it's already been a week since the last time we were on? I'm starting to think it's just melding one day into another. And of course, we have me and Steve. And over here, we have Nikki standing behind the product. So, well, it's Frank today. So,
Frankie.
right? So, this is the Father's Day episode, and there's a lot to go over, as you saw when we panned over to Nikki there. There's a lot of product there, but and plus we have a lot going on too, don't we? We have a lot of new shows coming up. We've got, it's just going to be crazy. But this Sunday is Father's Day, the third Sunday in June. Even though there was only 2 Saturdays, there's been 3 Sundays. So, the 15th. Are you guys ready? And I'm going to tell you, I have to tell you, and Maria's watching. Hi, Maria. So,
Hello, Maria.
So, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Which one do you think is bigger?
I think Mother's Day, probably.
Mother's Day. So, there will be a total of $22.4 billion spent on fathers during Father's Day this week, right? But let me tell you, for Mother's Day, you're talking $34 billion. Was spent during Mother's Day. And so a 30% difference. Do we think moms need more things than dads? Maybe more people have more moms than dads?
Maybe moms expect more?
That might be it.
Maybe the things we think of right away to buy, too, like flowers are kind of pricey, jewelry's pricey, brunch even just go out for brunch, whereas dad's kind of like, just let me watch the game, give me some beer,
couple of scratch
offs, hot dogs.
Couple of scratch offs.
Yeah, I do think that moms are more apt to receive the gift a lot better, a lot more emotionally than fathers sometimes. But you know what? People like all of us, all 4 of us, who our fathers have passed away. So we would be dropping a ton of money if they were here. And he's going to throw up our dads. And I put them all together. Leave it up for a second because the top left corner, hopefully it'll come up. We have a slight delay between what you see and what we see. Oh, my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hello, Marilyn.
So top left, maybe. Oh, here we go. Top left is my father, Dean Waldron. And to the right is Steve's father, Roger Heinz. And then below my father, Dean, is Nikki's dad, who is David Bell. And, of course, we have Roberto's father and his son in here, Robert. Say your last name, Robert?
Beauchesne.
Robert Beauchesne. And then this is your son. Which one?
Cameron.
This is Cameron in there.
He's 18 now.
Oh, my. That's a long time ago then. But we felt, and then I want to give a shout out to my stepfather. I realized after that I didn't put him on there, even though he deserved to be on there. Tom Mancini, who passed away in 2020 and was my stepfather for like 35 years. So shame on me. Or a little bit after 2020. I know. So shame on me for not putting him up. I'll do a post with him after. But now we're down to 2 on this one. So my mom left. No, I'm kidding. She's going to smack me. But anyways, I want to give a big shout out to not only my father, Dean, and Roger, and David, and Robert, but to all of those that have passed. A big shout out for our Happy Father's Day. And to the moms who were a single mom. I think it's important to recognize that being raised by a single mom, which I was for some time, and that's a lot. That's a lot. So they should be getting Mother's Day and Father's Day. Don't you agree?
Oh, yes.
One of the things I want to say is we're going into Father's Day, just like I say about Mother's Day. One of the best gifts that you can give your dad is time. Because for the 4 of us, we would give our left arm, left leg, right leg, so forth, just to be able to spend the time with our fathers. So by saying, hey, Dad, come on, let's go shopping. And bring them into Time Warp or to a vintage store and walk down memory lane with them. Because like I said with Mom, they lived an entire life before you. And we usually are so consumed with the fact that their life consists of us, we don't realize they had an entire life before us. So come on in and listen to them walk down memory lane, because it is a memory and something you will hold dear to your heart when they're not around anymore. I think it's very important. What do you think?
I think you're right. And when I had the opportunity to talk to my dad, I actually took notes.
I remember that.
There's a lot of family history. I did not want to die with him, and I made notes when we had our conversations, and I think he found that
Nikki, come on
comforting
around
as well, only because he knew that I was actually listening and wanted to hear it.
I called Nikki around because we're gonna talk before we get started on the product. I think it's important to and I'm going to ask Roberto, even though he's behind the scenes, what is a fond memory you have of your father? Not necessarily on Father's Day, but something that you think about during Father's Day.
Sure. Dad liked to do like the local car shows and the zoo, and like simple things were still an outing, but like it didn't have to be a big to do. But he was good at like driving us, me and my friends, to the annual Cedar Point trip, and he was always the dad that was requested for field trip driving.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I can see that.
He was. I should have worn. I have a hockey jersey that the kids got him that says Dad Bell on the back, because he was literally like everybody's dad. He ended up being a high school teacher because he volunteered at my high school when I was in ROTC as like the parent helper, because he had previous military experience. And all the kids liked him so much, they had him in to start doing.
It doesn't surprise me.
Other classes, and then he went from being a real estate agent to a high school teacher.
Now, Steve and I had the pleasure of meeting your father, of knowing your dad, and I'm going to tell you guys, one of the things that reminds me of David a lot is these right here, the globes, because he had them all around his school, his room in his
he taught world history. It started as we're antique collectors anyway, so we probably had a couple cool ones at home.
Right.
And he thought, I should take these to decorate my classroom. And then, like anything else that a dad or a mom collects, it turns into everybody thinks of, Mr. Bell needs this globe, and he'd have them all over his desk, and paperweights, and hanging from the ceiling. And his classroom had really cool like ceiling beams.
Right.
So we had places to put them up high, and it just turned into every version of every globe,
which is cool.
It was a really cool collection. And when he passed, I kind of wanted the guys to caretake,
and we did,
selling them at the store.
And we have one of them at home. Believe it, we have one that lit up at home from him. And we have globes around, and I have them out because in honor of your dad, because that is one of the things that I think about the most. How about you, Steve?
Well, and the globe cell.
Yes, and the globe cell.
And they're hot items, so I knew that they would do well here.
Yes. So Steve, I know that you also knew David, and so if you have something to say, that a memory that you have of David, and then tell me about your dad.
I mean, I met with him to buy the globes.
Right.
I met with him to get cases that the school was retiring from their raffle show or something. So I mean, I met him in business capacity, except for the one day we were cleaning out the house that you and John were moving out of.
Yes, that's
and
true.
And he and I helped you move out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they helped me through a divorce, just like my own dad.
We've known Nikki for a long time.
He couldn't do a lot of lifting. That's when he was starting to get sick.
Yeah.
So what about Roger?
My dad, the last few years, before he retired, he never had time for much as a kid or growing up. But the last few years of his life, he died at 71. We went to car shows on the Father's Day, and we went to a couple of them, and he really enjoyed it. He got to talk about things that he remembered. He always wanted a 49 Mercury, was his favorite car. Just things like that. If you get them in the right circumstance, in the right environment, in the right nostalgic mood, they'll just open up beyond belief about things that, you didn't realize, you couldn't believe. You would have never thought your folks would do that. That kind of thing.
And that's why I say it's good to bring them in and walk down memory lane with them, because you will learn so much from them. I'm going to tell you one of the things that I remember mostly about your dad, because I got the honor of knowing your dad for quite some time. And was when we took his dad to Old Country Buffet.
No, we went to the brunch over there at 12 and Hayes.
Right. Anyways, I don't think the restaurant's there
It
anymore.
was an Easter.
It was an Easter buffet.
It was a
But
breakfast
I'm gonna-
in the morning and a lunch in the afternoon.
And they were buffets. And we got there about 11 o'clock and they were switching over at noon. So by the time we were finished eating breakfast, they were putting lunch food out. And I have never seen somebody so giddy over the fact
over the fact that he got
Stay into the
breakfast
next
and he
meal.
got
for
lunch.
one price. For one price, he got breakfast and lunch.
They don't set a timer when
Remember
you're there,
that?
so why not?
He was pretty ecstatic.
Roll into the next
And
That was yeah.
The funny part is, you remember how giddy he was over
Uh-huh.
there. And I remember when my grandmother came to live with us, and she sold her house, and she gave my dad a check for $36,000, and he didn't even crack a smile. And my mother looked over and says, "You're the only asshole I know that can get $36,000 in his hand and won't even smile." But he was giddy over getting that lunch.
It's the
He
little
was.
things.
It was the little things, I swear. And Roberto, I know you're behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your dad.
I mean, I have so many stories, but the only thing I can equate to what you guys do in the vintage world. I'm sure this store has seen a lot of the stuff that my dad loved. Anything. He was the biggest fan of Ron Popeil.
Oh, really?
And Ronco. So whether it was the pasta maker, the rotisserie, the smokeless ashtray.
That's awesome.
And I still have one today, the Ronco vinyl record cleaner.
So
I still
he
have
was a
that,
gadget
so-
guy.
Oh, that's
Oh, my
cool.
God.
That's
Anything
cool.
that was sold on TV, he'd be up.
He'd be up going.
Nice.
Unbelievable.
And you are a dad. Happy Father's Day.
Yes. thank
What
you.
is there anything special happening with you on Father's Day?
You know what? I don't even know yet.
Oh, well then we'll revisit that next week.
I'll let you know
We'll
what we
ask
did.
you
Yes.
next week what you did.
So my dad, now I only got to know my dad for 10 years before he passed away. But there's a lot. My dad was me pretty much, from what I hear from my mother, my aunts, my uncles.
You look alike. You walk alike.
He was a hairdresser, very creative. But one of the things that I remember is he threw these huge parties at home, these huge parties for all the family. Like for Halloween, I remember the Halloween the last time.
Was they Diddy parties?
No, they were not Diddy parties. Or if they were, we were not privy to that. But
Disco era.
but he was known for these parties and stuff, and he was also known for because he owned a string of hair salons, for doing nonprofits. And I remember that he, at one of the parties, he shaved his head bald. He was a hairdresser. He shaved his head bald and then went around and offered everybody at the party $100 to go into the kidney foundation if they would shave their head bald. And he ended up doing over $1,000. This was 1978. That's a lot of money.
Because now they do like St. Baldrick's, and
Yes.
people wait all year to shave their head in commiseration for like cancer and stuff.
And one time, so I left school. So another story real quick, and then we're gonna get going because you guys don't want to hear all these stories probably. But I have to tell this, which is funny. So I was going from 4th to 5th grade, and I promised them when I left school that I would come back with a green mohawk. And they're all, "Oh, no, you won't. No, you won't." I'm going into 5th grade, and I'm telling everybody I'm going to come in with a green mohawk. So I told my dad that. And so my father's like, "Okay." So he sat me down before we went back to school, and he gave me a mohawk, and he dyed it green. And they called him from school and said, "There's something wrong with your son." And so when my father got it out of him that I had a green mohawk and was disrupting class, you know what he said? "Too bad for them. I'll pick them up after work." It's a haircut.
That's too funny.
So that's how my dad was. But anyways, I just wanted us to share stories of our fathers, because I want to hear stories from your guys' fathers. So please type it in here. Type it in here and let us know. I'm running one page and Nikki's running the other page. So if you put them in, we'll mention them online.
Frank.
I'm sorry, Frankie. So I am going to talk a little bit about mustache cups. So if you want to go back over there, we'll be coming to you in just a moment.
Yes.
So who has heard of a mustache cup? So a lot of people don't know what a mustache cup is. And one of the biggest things or not the biggest, one of the most unique things you can buy your father for Father's Day, especially if he has a mustache, is a mustache cup. Can I have you hold that for a minute? This one? A mustache cup looks like a regular cup, right? The difference is, do you see the line here that would cover? So, see it right there? So if I took a drink this part would cover my mustache, right? Isn't that hilarious? This is a thing. It actually exists. And now I'm going to tell you, mustaches flourished throughout the Victorian era, and by the 20th century, the British had insisted that all of their personnel have mustaches, right? And it was a requirement that all hair had to be in place, so no loose hair. So they would use a mustache wax, very strong on there, to keep every hair in place. Well, over time, they have found that when they would drink coffee or hot tea or anything hot, the wax would melt and drip into the coffee or tea, what they were drinking, and it would be disgusting. So the manufacturers of some of the cups made mustache cups to help protect your mustache. Plus, if you're drinking teas or coffees and you're a blonde and you have blonde mustache, guess what happens over time? Or you're a smoker. That's why you never, ever, if you have a mustache, you trim. You ever see the yellow? That happens with caffeine as well. So these would keep that from happening. Isn't that hilarious? So these cups are for men, and they're a hilarious novelty. You could get it for your dad, and it would be like, I mean, he'd probably show it to everybody. It's the craziest things in the whole wide world. What do you know about mustache cups?
They've just been around forever. They were quite the novelty back in the 60s and 70s, so much so that places like, or companies like Lefton started reproducing them. One of my mom's prized possessions was a German mustache cup she had picked up early in her collecting, because they were quite valuable then. Now they're somewhat commonplace. They're more of a novelty. They don't go for anywhere near what they used to, unless, of course, they're occupational shaving mugs and occupational mustache cups can have significant values.
That one's really pretty.
That one is really pretty. Let me hold it.
And that was to satisfy that
the
demand.
Look,
Yeah. Yeah, in the 60s and 70s, they were remaking a lot of that stuff. A lot of the early American, the colonial styles, all that was back.
So see, now I need to keep myself, I should have my rundown with me, because what's the first video? Oh, it's decanters. Okay, so isn't that awful? I have to go through my head to remember it is. One of the things that a lot of people that we get that come in and are asked about for Father's Day are decanters, because a lot of the guys like to drink. They like to have their cognac or their I'm not
Jack
a drinker.
Daniels,
Thank you. I'm all looking at her like she's a big old lush over there. But she's not. She's not. But
where do you think I got it from? Yeah, it was a Scotch drinker.
So scotch, different drinks like that. So decanters, you got to be very careful on what you put in the decanter, how long you keep it in the decanter, stuff like that. So I have a little video here that's about 2 minutes long that will tell you on the do's and don'ts when it comes to decanters about one thing. So when we come back, we will be over talking about the product that's over on the shelf. But before then, take a look. Here we have, this is 1984. 1984. And do you know that I was actually at that game? I was at this game in San Diego at the Padres before they came here and won it.
I was in diapers.
Yes, you were. And he was driving.
Oh my goodness.
And then, of course, I have the Anheuser-Busch sign there and some stuff over there that we will get to in a minute. But we are going to let you watch the video now. So go ahead and you're going to see me in a minute. Hey everybody, Jason here at Time Warp. So this is going to be a little quick video on tips and hints. And what we're going to talk about today is decanters, beautiful decanters, stunning decanters, all sorts of decanters. And, you know, with the craze that's been going on for a couple of years now about the mid-century look and the Mad Men style, we all have our bar carts and we're all decorating them with the cool vintage mid-century decanters and glasses, and they look fabulous, right? One thing I want to make you aware of that maybe you didn't know right off the bat is a lot of the liquor bottles are not airtight. And when you buy a nice liquor, you know, something that you paid a lot of money, $100 up for, the last thing you want is that liquor to be evaporating into the air. And what will happen, especially when you deal with vintage crystal bottles or vintage bottles, the stopper themselves will not have a seal, meaning it'll just be all glass, right? And when you put it inside of it, it's moving, so air is getting out. So what's happening? Your liquor that you paid a ton of money for is evaporating out and you're losing it,
right? And then you go to use it and it's half gone and you're wondering who stole your liquor, right? Well, the air stole your liquor because it would evaporate. The newer decanter bottles, they got smart because the newer decanter bottles will have, listen closely. Well, I don't know if you heard it, but it will have newer, meaning like 70s, 80s, 90s, will have a plastic airtight seal so that your liquor will not evaporate. So one of the tips that you can do, because you want to have that look, but you don't want to lose your liquor, is like they do when you go to Macy's or something and you see those really huge countertop displays of cologne and stuff. That's not cologne and perfume in them because that would be too expensive. That's water that's been dyed the color of the cologne and perfume. And that's what I would suggest doing with these, is when you do not have entertaining going on, but you still want that great look for mid-century, fill this with water and dye it the color of the liquor you want. So, you know, a little food coloring and you're good to go. That way, whatever evaporates is nothing. Because again, if you spend a ton of money on liquor, you don't want it evaporating. Guests come over, you dump out the colored water or dump it into something else, rinse this out, fill it with your liquor. Then you can serve using your crystal decanter. But make sure that you dump it out afterwards because you do not want, dump it back into the bottle afterwards because you do not want to lose it to the air.
And we're back. All
Hello,
right.
everyone.
So that's an interesting tidbit about the decanters, right? Because you've got this one here as well. It's a $40 decanter, but it's glass on glass.
Yeah.
Glass
The
is very
stopper
porous.
is nice and heavy, so the
It
weight will
is.
help a little bit.
It
but
will
there
help a little
is
bit.
No snugness.
Right.
Usually when these glassmakers made these decanters, a lot of times you'll see like a number 1 on the bottom of the stopper and a 1 on
Right.
the bottom. That means they were making multiples of them and they hand ground those stoppers to each fit so that if you were to mix up the stoppers, you won't get the good fit.
So, but with one of them, glass is porous, and if you see a decanter today, it's got plastic on it, like you saw in the video.
Yeah.
Those are what you want if you're going to store your liquor inside these decanters. Otherwise, just switch them out during the party. And something like this, which is a Waterford decanter, whereas that is probably a unnamed glass decanter, Shannon crystal.
Yeah, it might be a lead crystal. It's still really pretty.
It is.
Yeah.
Some of the more modern makers.
Yep.
are not as valuable.
So we do have a lot, so come check them out. And a decanter is good, especially if you notice that there is a bar in the basement or they like to decorate in a mid-century style. So what other things do we have here, Nikki? Like what, tell us a few things. You have something about these, don't you?
Yes, I have a couple like sidebars about a few things. We have the globes, like you
Of
mentioned,
course.
for Dad. We have some really pretty decorative barware to go with the decanters.
Here, I'll show you.
And then we started talking about things, you know, what do you think of with Dad's? It's the same as with Mom. You think of perfume, jewelry, flowers. So Dad is
we just
cars,
got these too.
Sports. Today. Those are beautiful. Beer stuff, golf stuff. We have a cigar ashtray. We have some books, some ballpoint pens. Tobacco related items, and then we don't have all of the teeny things, but you know there's always the typical cufflinks, zippos, pocket watches,
money clips.
I like to call a lot of this stuff mantiques.
That's a good way to call it.
I think my dad started saying that because you know he would always go antique shopping with my mom and I, and we were leaning a little bit towards more the feminine stuff, the teacups, the doilies, and he said, well, I'm gonna go find the mantiques, so I'm gonna go find the old fishing lures and the beer stuff. So that's like a really good way to describe older and vintage items that fall under a little bit more masculine category.
The non-frou-frou.
The non-frou-frou.
Yeah, it's not all dainty and florals and.
Before we move on, let's talk a little bit about these glasses because these glasses are fantastic.
Yes.
Hers is. Can you turn it down? I was just. So.
Well, I'm not a drinks on the rocks guy or anything like that, but to me, there's nothing better than a good rocks glass in your hand. Just
those are
the
so
feel
good
of a
watch
rocks
glass.
I want
just
those for whiskey.
it feels right.
Now I'm going to tell you, it matters. It matters, people. Guys like to have thicker glass. Now, bigger guys like to have thicker glass because we tend to hold tightly and we feel a little bit, or at least I feel a little bit, and I know you do sometimes, if the glass is really thin, that it's going to break.
Well, too, when they get to the bottom, they want to look through it, and the women look better when looking through the thick glass.
It's beer goggles, not whiskey goggles.
Oh my
Pearl-
goodness.
Pearls of wisdom from
So in
Steve.
other words, always have a clear bottom on there so you
Yeah.
can look through.
You gotta take a
But
sneak. Well, yeah,
wouldn't
show
it
the black
be-
velvet one that goes
I know.
right hand in
So
hand.
we have the black velvet ones with
With
the
the
lady
lady
on
right
it,
on it.
right on the back of it, so you can see.
You get to
Right.
see her.
There you
So
go.
black velvet is a
Reveal.
Canadian whiskey.
Yes.
Have you had it?
Yeah.
Is it any good?
It's okay.
I mean, I'm not a big whiskey
Their
person.
advertising, I think, was better than their actual drink.
You know what? You're right, because it's just, even the signs and stuff, they go like that.
Oh yeah,
But I don't even know. Do they still make it?
I think so.
I assume so.
Yeah. Cool. And I love these because these are the United States Congress Declaration of Independence.
Their bicentennial, 1976.
Yeah.
Right.
So Dad's like a lot of American,
Yeah.
paraphernalia and things like
Mhm. So, but you should see the wall of glasses over there. So, rocks glasses, cool graphics, water glasses, I guess,
that.
barware.
Yeah,
Barware is fantastic because from the decanters to a set of glasses, that's a great gift for somebody who especially likes to sit down and enjoy a cognac or
Yeah.
a whiskey, or I talk like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to liquor.
Well, you're the mad representative, so you shouldn't know that much.
But I'm going to tell you, no, you always, what is that thing? Always keep your enemies close.
Yes,
Alcohol's
you
an
have
enemy,
to
keep
know.
it close. But I'm going to tell a quick story about whiskey.
Yeah.
So my friend Sandy and I, who went to New York when I was 18, just turned 18, and I got my inheritance from my father when he passed away. And so we stayed at the Waldorf Astoria, right? And this is what I said to myself. we are going to go up there. I am going to have lobster and whiskey every night, right? So I went up there.
Not champagne.
Nope. I said whiskey because it seemed like the right thing to do for a guy, right? So I ordered lobster, loved it, of course. Oh my God. Whiskey is the most disgusting thing in the world. I literally took a sip of it, and that thing of whiskey was like $200-300.
And threw up all the lobster.
And I just set it aside and I wouldn't drink it. So Sandy downed the whiskey because she wasn't going to let it go. And I was like, and I never touched whiskey. I was like, what? And I thought I was going to be all hot,
Yeah.
or
Classy dude with your
all continental.
whiskey neat. No.
No, I should stay. I'm not a big alcohol drinker.
Clooney
I should
before
just have
Clooney.
lobster and coffee. I'd be
Sure.
fine,
Yeah.
or iced tea. But what else do we have here?
We have some sports cards. We do have some nice collectible cards in the store right now. So
That's a
Dad's
nice
got
one. Who
favorite
is this?
player, Ted Williams.
Ted Williams. That's an older one
That's the
too.
oldest one we have.
This Ted
And then
Williams.
we've got some football, basketball,
Mhm.
baseball, some key players, some rookie cards over here. We've got some other things that dads might collect or things that they remember. Sports memorabilia.
The Hulk
Talked about
Hogan.
cars. My dad had a whole story.
I'll talk
his
about
first
ties in a
car,
minute.
So I should probably talk about that this weekend. Cool model cars. We have tons of here.
And wasn't there something you wanted to say about somebody who had passed away recently?
Yeah, actually, speaking of the cocktails, I was going to say not just glass and decorative barware, but think about drinking
Are
in
you
the
trying to
garage, lawnmower beers, they call it, like other materials that you can use. That reminds me of, I have to give a shout out to my dear sweet college boyfriend's father, just recently passed, and his memorial is going to be this Saturday. But he was a St. Clair Shores resident for a long time. And then
Do you
they
still
moved up
talk to him?
north. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm going. On
Oh,
Saturday.
that's
We're
nice.
driving up to Standish. But Glenn used to always, when he was up north, he would start drinking earlier than you
Mhm.
normally would, because you're up north. There's
Right.
it's 5:00 somewhere type of time, and he liked mule cups.
Yeah,
And so
Moscow
he would,
Mule.
Yeah,
You can't talk. I'll go get
yeah,
one.
we have those too. It started making me thinking of the different materials to drink in, and he was one of those dads that liked his gin cocktails, and they would go up during fishing camp and deer hunting camp, and he'd have one of these cool little metal mugs, and he'd be having one of those sitting by the bonfire. And so I just wanted to RIP Glenn, and it'll be nice to see everybody this weekend, and I'm glad they're doing it right before Father's Day, because he was always a great dad.
Awesome.
It's one of those people that you say, like, you can't pick your
Mhm.
in-laws, but like Tyler's parents were wonderful people. I miss them dearly, and
Awesome.
yeah, so had to give it.
I was going to say, I don't know him because I know your ex-husband
Right.
and your current, boyfriend.
Yes,
I almost said husband because they've been together forever.
feels like
So, barware, we've got 2 more cups here. Tiki's good because if you have look at that, it says dad right on it.
that.
So
Yeah, that one's fun.
you can't beat that, right? Dad right on it. And it's a tiki mug, so it would go great in the tea if they have a tiki bar.
Sure.
because a lot of guys do.
People are starting to turn their garages into like bars at
Mhm.
home if they don't use it to park the cars in. I've seen some really killer like garage bars.
What else do we have?
We
That
have
is
poker
nice.
chips. We've
yeah.
got a whole section of playing cards, poker chips. Other things I was trying to think of on like the gift end, we've got some books and cologne. We give mom perfume, we give dad
Mhm.
cologne or aftershave.
Oh, I see you have obsession.
I have obsession. You guys have no idea how excited I was when I was like, I have to check our cologne section, see what we have. So I got good old Stetson. We have obsession. And if you're up on your current like social media viral stories,
If you're looking for a good cougar,
yeah, if you're looking to attract cougars, apparently there's a chemical in Obsession's makeup that attracts large
Perfume.
cats.
or cologne.
Yes.
Hmm.
Something in the chemical design of this particular clone, the Bronx Zoo. I'll post
Oh,
something about
I
it.
have a litany of things I could say right now.
If you want to attract some,
Right.
if you want to attract some really large cats, it could attract for up to a mile away jaguars and tigers. Love the smell of this cologne. So don't
So,
go
ladies-
on your safaris or give these to your
May I see it for a
gentlemen.
minute?
Yes.
So, ladies, this is a great gift if you're taking your husband to the zoo for the
Mhm.
afternoon and want to leave him
Your
there.
very own Tiger King.
And want to leave him there.
So yeah, I was excited that we had obsession.
That is
because
hilarious. I love that.
I just read that and I'm like, this attracts big cats. I gotta talk about
And
it.
we're actually going to post that later, you guys.
Yeah,
She found it,
I've got
so
a little
we're going to
clip
post that
and
later.
The snippet of the science behind it and a funny picture. So
I love that. That's
so you
hilarious.
get your cat attractant here.
So let me ask you something. Have you bought your dad anything that's on this table for Father's Day?
Yes.
Have you? Like
I
what?
Bought him a decanter.
Besides the globes.
Yeah, but obviously the globes. I got him a decanter.
Uh-huh.
He was a Scotch drinker because
Okay.
someone in our family did some research,
Which would be a rocks
and
glass, right?
traced us. Yeah, so
Mhm.
rocks glass and
Yep.
decanter. He had a blended whiskey that he and some of his teacher friends kind of like put together. They
Mhm.
blended their own from favorite batches. And
After school.
of course, after school.
Mhm.
I don't know
Wasn't it
much about
still
Scotch.
on the roof?
Right? I'm still working on Scotch because someone in our family traced us back,
Yeah, but do you
to
like Scotch?
Scotland. I'm starting to.
Oh, so
I'm
it's
more of a bourbon whiskey.
okay.
It's like
because I could not stand
not all
Scotch.
whiskey is bourbon, but
or
all bourbon
whiskey.
is whiskey, and then
No, I
there's
know.
Scotch and Canadian. So Dad was a Scotch drinker,
Mhm.
so I did get him a very nice decanter with 2 snifters.
Uh-huh.
I've gotten him some golf books. He used to be a golfer. Things
Yep.
like this, little golf.
Actually, we have a bunch of golf books that just came in. Too,
Yeah.
Probably 20 or 30.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of golf stuff.
I didn't know your dad was a golfer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Until he hurt his back.
I was going to say he didn't strike me as a golfer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he
Hmm.
loved it. And then ties.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, because your
Yeah,
dad was required to wear one
yes,
at work.
You're
so.
gonna segue into how like ties are so
They're
over-
out.
Stop getting dad ties, but my dad
We've
had to
canceled
wear-
ties.
Right. He was a realtor, so he was always in a suit and tie. And then when he
Mhm.
was a high school teacher, he was at a private school, so his
It
dress code
required
was
suit and tie.
dress
That-
shirt and tie. He didn't want to wear the same 6 ties forever and ever, so
And
he
that's
loved
a-
new ones.
And so that buy the ties
Yes.
because if he actually uses them, buy them.
And
But
he
we'll
would
get
wear
into that
really
in a
pretty
minute.
colored shirts
Mhm.
and mix and match them, so like they can be stylish for the guys
Right.
that want them. Otherwise,
Otherwise, they're just in a nightstand for fetish nights.
yeah.
That too. Or ladies wearing for belts. But
Yeah.
Steve, what about you? Have you bought your dad anything on here?
The one thing that I always got my dad was every year back then they would come up with some new gimmicky tool that they would advertise, the stud finder.
Did
all
he
these
Yes.
do
different things.
these? Beep
What?
beep beep beep.
Yeah.
Did he do that?
Oh, did he do that?
But every
The
year I
phone
would
one.
find him one of
That's
these,
always-
like some special
Mhm.
screwdriver that did 20 different things, or
Well, it was
a wrench, or the jar opener. That was probably the one he used the most.
the jar
was one
opener.
of those jar openers that had the big strap.
Well, I'm going to tell you
Usually that's what I got him.
one of the things with your dad that I found it easy to buy for when is because he would go through those books that show all of the different what were those books he looked at all the time?
Consumer's Report.
Consumer report books,
every-
and he would literally put like marks in there. So
Everything.
I would go through the book and I would look to see what to
If
get
he was
him.
gonna
He
buy
was
anything,
interested.
he had a subscription to Consumer's Reports,
Uh-huh.
and he would go through and
It would take that man
rate
a
everything.
year to buy a TV. It literally would it not?
Very
He-
discerning.
Yes, it was
Mhm.
concerning.
I like
Well, back in the late 80s, he drank a 12-pack, and there was a big snowstorm coming, and he went to Sears, and he bought a snowblower that had hand warmers, a windshield wiper, like had everything but a seat to sit on. It was like a 12 horsepower.
Yeah.
It took up a spot in the garage the size of a small car.
Mhm.
We used it once in 40 years.
And then we used it once.
No, I never used it.
I used it once. I walked up and down with it once. Yep.
And
it was enclosed. It had a little heat thing.
So after that, he always swore never let him go buy anything after he's been drinking. And he would do the research on it because he bought way beyond what he needed for that.
So I'm going to say this. You're probably going to get music for Father's Day, right?
Hopefully,
because you're a big music person. And I have to say, we don't have any on here, but music's a good one for Dad as well.
Sure.
Because I know that your world revolves around music. Mine does. I don't know. You like music, but you don't really listen to it. And I know guys that they would die if somebody got them even a gift card to one of their favorite
or vinyl.
Yeah,
Vinyl's
vinyl
back.
store.
A lot of dads
Concert
like vinyl.
tickets.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
Oldie groups.
I say gift card, and one of the ways, like for you, Roberto, if you got a gift card to, like, let's say, to Tracks and Wax, just out of, wouldn't it be great if your kids went with you and watched what you bought?
Oh, I would hope. I know.
Do you know what I mean? And talk to you about that type
That's
of
like
thing.
pulling teeth. But
No, I know it is. But that's why the more I talk about it, and when your kids get older and they get, because I know they're still teenagers for the most part, when they get older, going and watching you pick out.
Well, they collect vinyl as well, which I'm
Because
very
of you.
impressed.
Exactly.
If their ages at 18 and 15, that's pretty cool that they know that it exists.
That's
and they like to
perfect.
buy it.
That's
And-
a good collectible to be passing on
Yes.
already.
So music's a good one, because if somebody got me a gift card, we don't have kids, we have cats, but for a music store, I would be in heaven. He used to take me to what was it, Music Movies, Melodies and More's, the one down at there, and he would drop me off because I would sit on the floor and go through those records for hours. I would, hours, and he would just be like, so he would just drop me off and I'd call him to come get me. You know how that is.
I've done that many times.
Right.
Now he just wouldn't come back and get you.
No, he'd tell me to walk home.
Uber.
Right? I know.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
craziness.
yeah, there you go.
But there's, and my mom's jumped back on. Hi, Mom. So we have other stuff here. So because I know that we talked about a lot about barware and stuff like that, but there are dads that don't drink, and that there are dads that don't have bars downstairs. So one thing I'm going to say about guys, and this is because I am one, and we work in a vintage and antique store, is boys never grow up. So a really great gift for dad would be toys, believe it or not, from their time period. Here you have a Superman dragster from the 90s, and 90s guys are now dads. So I say that hesitantly because I could have been a dad in the 90s. And so
Dated a few.
I'm sure I did. And so well, you could have been a dad in the 70s. So, at the 80s.
17.
Yeah, you can be a dad at 17.
Sure.
But and then we have Hulk Hogan,
Mm-hmm.
80s toys. We have guys that come in all the time with their kids, with their wives, and it's hilarious because they spend most of the time back here in this corner, which is the toy corner.
Yeah.
And you can see toys all around probably. So don't underestimate toys for your dad.
And dads love wrestling stuff.
Yes, they do.
Wrestling stuff.
Yeah, wrestling,
My kids can get
superheroes.
they can come get these for me if they'd like.
The Kiss dolls, and I would show you guys, but they're way up there,
I need a better
and
lens than damn near
they
life-size.
are like 3 feet tall,
Yeah.
and they sing, and they have bodies that they don't have, so
Yeah.
which is hilarious anymore.
Special.
But sports is always good. You saw the World Series pennant here. I'm running out of places to put stuff. The World Series pennant here, which is which is Detroit Tigers. The hats, a nice fedora hat, or something to that effect if they wear. And then over, what else do we have here?
Well, and behind me we have fishing stuff, more bar stuff.
Yeah, and I pulled those fishing poles out
Oh,
because I got to
we-
show you.
Yeah, we don't have any giant
Can
fishing
you-
poles.
Well, we
like
do.
that.
We have standard ones over there.
Yeah.
but
not
these are
for
for
the same.
kids. And hand me the other two. And
Take
these
your
are
kids
great
fishing.
because if dad likes to fish, these are great for your little kids because look at this. It's a Snoopy fishing pole. It's a Disney fishing pole. So if dad likes to fish, you could pick up something like this and go spend some time with your dad, right?
Speaking of passing on the hobbies to the next
Yeah,
generation.
exactly. Like the music.
Yeah.
Your love of globes
And scotch drinking.
and scotch drinking.
You can't.
hmm And just drinking. So oddities are good. You've got, because we don't have a whole lot of hunting stuff right now, do we?
No, but we have a decent amount of taxidermy.
We do.
I mean, a lot of dads like the deer hoof
Mhm.
coat hangers. You can do things with. So, I mean, even if your dad's just an outdoorsman in general, we do have a lot of cool antlers.
Or maybe this display just like this.
Right? Or on your head.
I mean,
like
that's
Steve had earlier.
nice. He did. But I could see that because, you know, and not all dads like sports and drinking. Some are cooker. Some like to cook.
Yeah.
You
Some
know.
like to bake.
Some like to smoke cigars.
Yeah.
Yes, take a look at this. This is a cigar ashtray. And
Ask for these all
as you
Wow.
can see, the area is much larger, so it holds a cigar than a standard cigarette because regular ashtrays won't hold a cigar.
No, and they're longer because you set cigars down
Right.
for a longer period of time. I mean, a cigarette you mostly smoke it, and that's it. But cigars, you know, you set it down, you take a drink, you play a hand of poker, so they have to be able to rest. The ashtrays are much heftier.
And what is the number one thing that happens when somebody becomes a dad for the first time?
Oh, yeah.
You hand out
Yeah.
cigars. So this is always nice to have. Even if you don't smoke cigars, a nice ashtray like that can be a catch-all. It can be good for
Coin dish,
change.
you can put it by the door where you throw
Yeah,
your wallet and your keys.
absolutely. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Steve? What do you have to say about any of the Father's Day stuff? Like, ooh, this is nice. This is a pipe tin.
Mhm.
You can keep your weed in it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
tobacco, regular or fun.
I love how she says tobacco. I say weed.
Wacky tobacco.
I know. What do you find guys are
Pipe
asking? People are
smoking is coming
asking.
back in.
The wrestling, the toys, a lot of what you mentioned
Mhm.
are all fair game. You know, the humidors. A lot of guys want watches now. They like watches.
Mhm.
They want the
Yes.
accessories.
Yeah.
They want the holders. They want the boxes.
You were at the toy show the other last weekend, this past weekend, and guys my age especially want to rebuy every toy that they had as a
Oh,
kid.
yeah.
So-
I was
And
an
they
80s.
want it sealed.
Yep.
They want it in the
Yes.
box.
Yep.
They want it.
Yeah.
So that's what, playing on what I was talking about earlier about boys never grow up.
Yes.
We played our toys. When you walk into stores like this, you see less girls' toys than you see boys' toys because girls took care of their toys.
Yes, I was gonna say. So I was an '80s baby. and
She has
I-
all her 80s toys.
I was a toy collector, still am. I had Turtles, Ghostbusters.
What do you mean had?
He-Man, She-Ra, have. And boys were harder on their toys. So now
We-
I'm hitting the age.
We broke them, bent them, buried them,
burned
traded them in.
Like Sid from Toy Story.
Mhm.
All of my guy friends that are my age are hitting me up because they're like, if you're gonna, my friend Jim was like, if you're gonna get rid of those turtles, I get first dibs. So I just gifted him. We made a deal. He got the turtle, the sewer, the van, the figures, but his kids are getting into toy collecting. So he's passing it down. He's got kids that are going to enjoy them and play nicely. So I would love to see
Mhm.
something that I'm not going to display anymore. I got my enjoyment out of it.
Right.
I played with my toys when I was a kid. I'm going to pass them on to other toy collectors.
Exactly, I
and
get
their
it.
And then
kids.
let the
Yep.
little preciouses go.
Yeah, no,
Well-
I'm keeping my Little Ponies.
She
and
will not let go
Steve
of her Little
loves to tease
Ponies.
Me about that. 'Cause
Boys,
they're like the girliest toy you can think of.
if you were told, boys, if you were told no, if you were told we don't have the money for it, if you were told maybe next year and it never happened, then by the time you were old enough and you were working, guess what's the first thing you bought? That toy you were denied when you were young. So boys, it's a vicious circle. They buy it, they break it, they rebuy it, they break it, they rebuy it, they break it,
As an
they
adult,
update.
Yeah.
Boys will never stop doing that.
Yeah.
So toys are a great addition when it or option when it comes to Father's Day shopping.
Well, Hot
You
Wheels,
would even buy.
Hot Wheels and Matchbox.
Uh-huh.
They're little.
Yeah.
I mean, even if your dad doesn't collect them, you
Mhm.
know what car your dad had in high school or what his dream car was.
Or you should, and if not, then you need to be in the store with him to listen to
and
him
you'll
talk.
hear, but get it for his bookshelf
Yeah.
or his desk. So like even little small toys will
Mhm.
spark that memory, and you don't have to go whole hog and get him a whole collection. But
So
a
we
toy is
have
gonna you know.
It's going to make them smile. We have 3 generations here. Okay. A 10-year difference, almost a 10 years difference. Okay. So do you think that it's more prevalent now that generation or that millennials are now buying back their youth? Do you think they're doing it more so than the Gen X did, or do you think the baby boomers did it more?
I think the baby boomers set the trend, and the others may be catching up, but the baby boomers were collecting 50s, 60s into the 70s, whereas a lot of these other ones, it's more of one decade, maybe 12, 15 years. The baby boomers seem to have collected things for 20, 25 years.
Right.
That just spanned. I don't know if the definition of a baby boomer is a longer time frame than a millennial or a Gen X or not.
It was
but
a
it
larger
just seems
generation.
like it covered.
It had more people.
Yeah, I believe so.
It just covered a
Yeah, like-
longer period.
Like mine would, it'd be like 81 to 91 would be like.
In between.
It's always too, if you think about it. The things were for as a person, like there's still things coming out in either 16 or 18 that is a baby that you're collecting now. Whereas it sounds like the millennials and the Gen Xers, the stuff they were collecting, they stopped really looking for it 13, 15, it just seems like there was a longer period, so therefore there's more options to look for in more categories. I was going to correct this.
Thomas have spelled, look at Bobby. Somebody's saying the mics are messed up. I don't know if it's lowering your shirt. Like 2 people said something.
I don't know. I'm not hearing
After somebody else did. Judy said just said check on
The only thing I did,
if he was too far away, maybe they just can't understand.
yeah, so
We have to do it in the comments too, unfortunately, so it takes some Okay.
times.
Mac.
Let's do a puppet show.
Frankie.
Yeah.
It keeps freezing. Can you hear me again?
The puppet show. It's
How about now?
Hello? We have no sound. Hello? Did they say how long it was? Okay.
well, the problem is there's a delay from what we're doing to the
Yeah,
video,
it's
and then
intense.
there's
Okay,
a
we got
delay
it.
for the comments.
What the heck?
We back?
Okay, we're back.
I have no idea when we cut out and what they did or did not hear.
All right. Are you guys there? Can you hear us?
Well, the problem is there's a delay from what we're doing. See?
All right, we're back, everybody. Sorry about that. Oh, that's very good. There you go. I wonder how long that went on for.
I know. So I'm wondering, like, what we missed.
It said about 7:16.
Is that what that said?
Yeah, about 4 minutes.
Oh, okay. So
All right.
that was about a 4-minute. Let me turn this back down.
I think we were still talking about
Daniel,
toys
better.
and- okay. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. What
Yes.
were we talking about?
I think toys still.
Toys.
Like, the toy show and people our age buying things and Barbie.
We all buy it back.
generations. Yeah.
BronyCon.
And then you have
Bronies,
ladies.
Yes.
A lot of bronies. I'm going to say a lot of girls won't buy back, but you would.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. Like some people are still buying back their childhood, or like you said, they're kind of upgrading. Where like maybe I had Nintendo
Would you?
and Sega and never went past that, but my friends are now getting into the new video game systems that they didn't have when they were kids.
So, and then I was talking about ties and why ties were not the right thing to buy somebody right now.
One thing for dads.
Yep, they were the
How
number
long?
one thing
What is it
for
now?
fathers for decades.
Do you know
Then
what it is now? Did you look it up?
it's tech. But what I'm saying is the number I'm going to tell you, ties are good if the person wears ties. Don't buy ties for your dad unless they wear ties. Matter of fact, buy ties for your mom or your sisters because they will wear them as belts. Clip-on ties, right? Electronic gadgets, and the number one gift for dads is cards. Unfortunately, cards. Buy them something more than cards. But I'm going to tell you, in here we've got special outings is number 2. Is what they suggest. Special outings, and again, I'm going to reiterate: a special outing would be to bring your dad into a store like this, into Time Warp, and walk around and listen to them reminisce their childhood to you, because once your father is gone, which all 4 of our fathers are gone, you will be happy you did that. You know what I mean, right, Steve? It's craziness. What else do I have for images down there? I totally forgot. Isn't that craziness?
A clip from Mad for Mod.
Oh, okay. Oh,
At
let's
8
talk about
o'clock
that.
tonight.
Oh, we got to hurry. So tonight, Steve, shall we go sit down? Come on over here, everybody. Can you move the cameras? Okay. Yeah, come on over. They can see us. They can see us move around like we're behind the scenes, right? Have a seat. I'll take these. And I'll set these right here.
What up, Frankie?
What's up?
Okay. So tonight,
So-
I'm so excited, you guys, and I'm glad that the sound is working now because I was a little worried at first. Tonight at 8 o'clock, I almost missed the stool. That would have been hilarious. And so, so tonight at 8 o'clock, the Mad for Mod video airs. Thank you, Roberto, for everything you did to help put that together.
I'm excited.
Watch
I
it.
haven't seen any of
It's
it.
amazing.
It's amazing. Steve and I had the privilege of going and talking with Andy Schulist and Tony Couchman on the beautiful store they have, Mad for Mod. And then we walked through Andy Schulist's home and saw some of the craziest stuff, didn't we?
It was mind-boggling.
It was mind-boggling. Why don't we watch this real quick so you can get an idea of what it is that starts at 8 o'clock?
Elvis Presley has a whole jungle or rumpus room full of this furniture that he bought several years before he passed away, and it's all preserved. There's bar stools, they made lamps, they made instruments, they made wall hangings, they made waterfall fountains,
And if I'm not-
couches, chairs.
If I'm not wrong, when we go to your house to look at your private collection of stuff, you have some Wicto stuff that
I
we're going
have
to be talking about.
A few pieces here
A few
and there.
pieces here and there.
Quite a bit.
So would you say you're building a jungle room like Elvis?
Yeah, I have beyond that. I don't have Elvis'
really?
singing voice. I can't dance room like Elvis, but I'll tell you, I probably got more furniture than he does in his jungle
In
room.
his jungle room?
Yeah.
This is awesome. I mean, stuff like this is available here at Mad for Mod.
And you're back.
So I'm excited because you will see me right at the show talking about it, and then the show opens with Steve and Andy walking through the building. So I'm excited of the store. Yeah, the home and his personal collection is the second aspect of it. Same video, but second
And
aspect.
if you just like pop culture and just cool stuff, I mean, really, really watch it. It's unbelievable. And we didn't even do his backyard where he has the McDonald Land play
No, because he hadn't opened it
fiberglass
yet.
playground.
And a 25-foot.
It wasn't that big.
How-
It was probably 10 foot.
Oh, it was much taller than him. Anyways, of the big boy. Anyways, it's a cool video. So that starts at 8 o'clock, and it will be live on YouTube and Time Warp Facebook, not my personal. And then what is the two? We have the Pride
parade.
first.
Yeah.
Okay, so Steve and I, we went down on Sunday to downtown Detroit to see the Pride Parade, and the amount of people that were there were crazy. He's putting up a graphic of some of the pictures. It was a nutty.
It was quite the spectacle, if you will.
It was.
There was a lot of people, everybody having fun, everyone being comfortable. We did go to one restaurant, which
Yes.
was the absolute pits.
Sugar, please.
We walked out after
Don't
almost
go.
40 minutes waiting for our food.
The bartender even said, "No, don't worry about it, honey. It's on us."
And I ordered
Mhm.
blackened shrimp and
He still
cheesy
wants it
grits,
right now.
and I can still taste it.
Oh no!
I never
because
got
it was the best iced tea in the world.
but
Go back when they don't have a
It was-
mob
it-
of people in
there
here.
Must be.
There
There wasn't actually. I think they were
No?
having
It was
issues
really
in the
kind of
back.
surprising.
I think they were having issues in the back, and
Yeah.
they're semi-new, maybe.
That happened.
I don't know, but
I'll go back myself.
yeah. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. So, if you guys get a chance to go down next year, go, because the parade is fun. The governor was there. Everybody was there.
Yeah.
So, and then they have the shop or the vendors and all of that. It was fun. It was colorful.
It's
Sure.
the first time we've been down to Detroit Pride because we've always gone to Ferndale Pride,
Yeah.
which is usually earlier in the
And
weekend.
much.
And we don't have those off, but we
No.
had Sunday off, so we decided to go down for this
Yeah.
one, and we enjoyed it. We had
Yeah,
fun.
because we haven't been to the Detroit one.
Just good to see so many people
What's that?
out just being themselves and being proud.
You have the Pure Bed.
Yes. We have a show And I'm so excited to announce that we will be collaborating with Pewabic Pottery and Tile, and doing a show on the history of Pewabic Tile with the history of Pewabic Tile with Detroit, and
From the Pewabic factory.
From the Pewabic factory. We will be at Pewabic talking with their historian and archivist, and we will be and I'm excited. I don't even know.
That's going to be really interesting. This is
Yes.
Something that most people don't get the opportunity
To get
do.
into.
They don't do
Mhm.
this often, so this will be a once in a lifetime
Yes.
opportunity to really see behind the scenes.
And Mondays we're filming it on a Monday. It will be released in the future. I'm not exactly sure yet, but not too far away. When the store is closed, so that way they can devote the time to us to take us through how they make them and what they do for Detroit, how it helped build Detroit and different places around the world. And Pewabic Tile is probably one of the most recognized tile companies, wouldn't you say?
It's certainly one of the most recognized anything in Detroit historically.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's been around in Detroit since the 1800s. So, I mean, there's mansions that
Yes.
have walk-in bat showers made of Pewabic
Yeah,
tile.
I was to say Pewabic ties back into so many things that we are all involved in.
Mhm.
Specifically, it's Detroit. It's historic. I mean,
Decorative
it's
arts.
decorative arts. You know, you go estate sailing or house hunting in Indian Village or Boston Edison.
90% of the
and you
tile
can
work
still
will
see
be
all the fireplace surrounds
Mhm.
and the kitchen floors and the walkways,
Backsplashes.
backsplashes, bathrooms,
Entrance mosaics.
and it's recognizable. It's kind of like
Mhm.
you can look and say, "Oh, that's Depression glass. That's
Mhm.
Roseville pottery." You can recognize Pewabic, and they still make it in. They haven't wildly changed
right.
their glaze colors, their composition. Like it's got its very iconic look.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, that's just like everything we love.
So-
Seeing it in a house when you're out and about is like, I'm like, oh, that's.
And I'm excited to say that this is going to be hopefully the first of many iconic, historic companies that we're going to be working with on a show. We have a couple more under our belt that we are going to be pursuing. But I want to thank Pewabic Tile for giving us this opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's so exciting.
And then she's going to walk us through. I'm just excited. So we have some cool things coming, and I'm excited about
And
it.
if any of our viewers, if you guys have family members or friends in any of the, longstanding Detroit institutions, anything historical in the area that has that kind of aspect, let us know.
Oh,
Ask them
absolutely.
if they'd love for us to do a show on anything else, history, Detroit, museums. I mean, that
Absolutely.
would be, we'd love to keep doing that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Carhartt
Right?
would be fun. So remember, Father's Day is Sunday. So hug your dads, give them something cool, spend some time with them, bring them in. We'll be open on Sunday, so 11 to 5. So bring them in, and Jason and Renee will.
My mom will be here to help
Yep,
you.
absolutely. And but cool. Any other words you guys have to say?
Check out the Mad for Mod show. It's mind-boggling the things that Andy has.
Plus, his knowledge is astounding when it comes to mid-century modern and pop art.
And it's going to re-air a few times, right?
Well,
So,
it'll
like,
it's
you can watch
it's
it
going to
tonight,
air
but-
live, and then you can watch it whenever
Okay.
because it'll be on YouTube as well
Okay,
as Facebook.
Just like our other shows. And
Oh, yeah.
While we
Uh-huh.
were sent to the clip, Roberto let me know. I was wondering, like, if the mic and everything, when we have these little problems live, he can fix it when it replays. So you'll be able
Sometimes.
to hear.
No, it
Yeah.
records onto your mic.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then, if
That
you go
was
to
cool.
watch us later on
Yeah.
replay,
Oh,
you'll be able to-
good.
We'll try to fix that.
Oh,
be able to hear
awesome.
what we were
Okay.
saying for those couple minutes. So
Cool.
that's
Especially
good.
in the reels.
That would be
Yeah.
why you take these home and
Because it is
pull
vitally
the
important.
Yeah.
Yes, we're always talking about very important things.
Yes.
Of course.
Earth
And I want to
shattering.
say we are 25 subscribers away from 10,000 on YouTube. So please go and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Invite your friends.
Yes.
Tag people.
10,000. I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty
But I'm
great.
only 25 people away from it.
We're right there.
It's killing me. So anyways, you guys have a great night, and hope you have a fantastic Father's Day, all you dads out there, and all you moms that are acting as dads out there, because we can't forget about you guys. And we will see you next Tuesday.